Attraction to aesthetic. Okay, these are just notes. I'm not gonna read it word for word necessarily. Okay, yeah. Attraction to the attraction to the aesthetic only is bad when it comes to goth girls, punk girls, emo girls, alternative, whatever, right? Like if you're just into them for the aesthetic, that's bad because you're just seeing them as a person with clothes. You might not even be fixated on the person, you just might be fixated on the clothes, and that's where the fetish thing begins. I think that's what people are mostly complaining about is that, there is some posts that I've seen in my life that I don't have screenshotted, so I don't have anything to back it up for me. Okay, so yeah, I think I got off topic a little bit. I apologize. But yeah, yeah, the people like it's only a problem. Like I think a lot of these videos that say, because the one thing I don't really like about these posts I see on the internet and these videos is they act like if you're attracted to goth girls or alternative girls in general, that they sorry, that wasn't me farting, that was my pillow that made a noise. They act like if you're if these people on the internet, they talk as if you're attracted to these women in general, that it's bad. Like they act like the attraction itself is bad, and I just find that's just so stupid because first of all, people can't help what they're attracted to. Like people, I don't consider being attracted to these women as a fetish because first of all, I don't believe any person can be a fetish. People, and I'm not saying it doesn't happen. People treat other people like they're a fetish, but truly objectively, a person cannot truly be a fetish. Like like objectively speak, like you can objectify, like you know what I mean, like the person could be objectified, right? Like I'm not denying that, like obviously that happens, but what I'm trying to say is that I'm talking for the dude that's doing it. I'm talking for the dude that's doing it to the woman. That's just not the right way. You know what I mean? Like people are people. Like you know what I mean? Like you know what I mean? Um, but on the flip side though, people can't help that they have like a black boot fetish. Like they're attracted to black boots or fishnets or something. Like people can't help those attractions. So it kind of goes both ways. That yeah, you should treat the person like they're a person. They're not an object, but at the same time, men can't help that they're attracted to certain clothing or just even physical appearances, like someone's weight or I think the whole chaser thing, while it is a thing, I'm not denying it is a thing. Me personally, I've never seen comments of actual guys saying, I want a goth dommy mommy. I've never personally seen that. I've only seen it quoted as like a meme. I'm not saying they don't exist. They probably do, but I personally have not seen that. But what I'm trying to get at is that, yeah, if the dude is acting like that, then yeah, that's just kind of scummy. But at the same time, it's just basically what I'm trying to get at is that, um, yeah, attraction to the aesthetic is only bad. You know what I mean? But I think people throw the word. I think people throw the word chaser around way too much. This applies to other communities as well, but I don't want to get canceled off of YouTube. But this applies to other communities as well. I think the word chaser gets thrown around even when someone is just maybe like slightly like a little bit like interested. Like it's kind of like ridiculous. Like just because someone has a preference for a certain group doesn't mean that they're a fucking Kumo Gunor that is like has like a bazillion images of certain groups of people on the wall or whatever. I'm not gonna get into the certain groups of people, you know what I mean? Like it's not like that, right? I mean sometimes it could be, but basically in a nutshell. Another point that I want to add is that attraction to the interest personality only is fine. So like if you're into their interests, the music tastes, the personality as a whole, but not the what they look like, not how they dress, not even like the weight or the skin, like if the skin, like if they have dry skin, like people don't care about that. Okay, you got dry skin, whatever. Okay, whatever. You have you know what I mean? Like you like some people just don't care about looks, right? Gotta keep my voice down. Some people just don't care about looks, and they just say, "Well, what are you into?" That's what I'm into. Oh, you're into Friedrich Nietzsche. Oh, I am too. I don't care about what you look like. I don't care if you have. And I'm not saying this to be offensive or anything, but they could say, I don't care if you have a birth defect or anything. As long as you like Friedrich Nietzsche, that's all that I care about. Like, there's people like that, right? And I respect that, right? Um, now, um, yeah. Um, but a lot of these videos, what they fail to like hit home with is that there's nothing wrong with being attracted to the aesthetic and the interest in personality. Like there's too many of these fucking videos and r/goth on Reddit and all like whatever. Like they seem to emphasize too much on the it's mostly the interests and the personality that matters, or sometimes they say that's only what matters and not what the person looks like. See, I disagree in my case. Like maybe for you, you just like again, there's people that are like that, right? But I don't know. There's just too many people in their alternative, mostly goth community who preach that it's that the interest, personality should matter only. I just disagree with that for me at least. You know what I mean? Like I've read posts. Okay, hold on. Sorry, I had to do something. There might be some pauses, and because I live with my parents because I'm mentally ill. I don't want to get off topic about that. But yeah, I don't want to edge this video to 30 minutes. I'm hoping to end this by 10 minutes or like a total of 20 minutes, hopefully. So I don't want to edge this video too long. I got shit to do too. Okay. Um. Um. Sorry if you heard me sniffling. I don't know if you heard me sniffling, but I was sniffling a little bit. I'm sorry. I'm not sick or anything, but I don't know. You might have. It doesn't matter. I might cut it. Okay. Um. Yeah, I've read posts from men who like goth girls or alternative girls or whatever you want to call them because there's just so many subsets of it. You know what I mean? Um. You know. Yeah, I just read so many posts from men who like goth girls all like there's men that love goth girls, alternative girls or whatever, like you know what I mean? Like they made posts like on Reddit or something like that, like asking questions like, am I fetishizing them if I'm into them? And then you know what I see? You know what I see on these posts? I see people accusing the person that they're fetishizing, which is just like this is so ridiculous because even when I read back the person's post like multiple times to see like is it really fetishizing? In a lot of cases, not really. Like it's not once did they mention, oh I'm into kinky stuff. I'm looking for like no they never mention anything like that. A lot of them sounded actually kind of curious, and even though a lot of these men sounded just curious of the woman, again I'm focusing on men and women here. I'm sorry, but people still say, well, it sounds a little bit fetishizing. A little. Why do I? This is just so fucking stupid. You know? Even when someone is just giving off a little bit of those vibes, it's just like, really, dude? Like, what if the person's attracted? Like I said, I don't want to be repeating like a. But what if the person's like they're attracted to the physical physique, the Victorian Victorian dress, but they want to get to know the person? You know what I mean? Okay, let's go back on my notes here because I'm just okay. These posts seem like actually interested in the person too, or just interested in the subculture or whatever. You know, I don't have like links to my knowledge of these posts or comments or whatever. It's just like when I was just scrolling on like r/goth or whatever, like just random shit, and then like But yeah, it's just shaming men for liking or even being attracted to the clothing. It's just kind of just stupid. Like again, um, it's only stupid if like if you're shaming like it's like what am I trying to get at? The only men that should be shamed is if it stops at the clothes. Like if it stops at the clothes, it's a problem. But if the guy wants to go beyond the clothing with the woman, then that's a completely different story. And that's what I'm getting at. I think a lot of people they're not making it clear with their arguments. A lot of people are not hitting this point home. Now a lot of people could say, well, the reason why you're not hearing that many people say this opinion is because it's kind of obvious that if you like the clothing and the how they are as a person, then we're not talking about you. We're not talking about those people. But some people do get a little bit you know, ignorant. I don't know if that's the right word I'm looking for, and they kind of forget that. Like it kind of gets lost, buried. Because then I'm reading all these comments from these men like, "Oh, should I just stop being attracted to a woman in a black dress? Should I just stop? Should I just No, you shouldn't stop. It's just it shouldn't be the only thing." That's what I'm trying to get at, you know? Again, I made a video about this, but the reason why I'm making another one is because I kind of never didn't really talk about the dressing aspect, the clothing aspect. I was just talking about goth girls in general. I want this to be specifically about the aesthetic, you know. And I know it's a music genre, but this has nothing really to do. I know goth has to do with music, but I'm mostly talking about the gothic type of dressing or the punk emo type of whatever dressing, you know. Um, yeah, about these men though, they get shamed. It's just so sorry, my dog barking. I'm gonna probably wrap this up. I don't want to make a part two. If I forget anything in the video, I'm just gonna leave a pinned comment. Um, I relate to these men. I relate to these men who get shamed, not the creepy ones that are just like, oh, dummy mommy, not those ones. The ones that just kind of give off a little bit of fetish vibes, even though it's probably not even a fetish for them at all. Because I think there's a difference between a preference and a fetish. And I think a lot of people are throwing the word fetish around. Oh, they have a goth fetish, when really you should be saying they have a goth preference. Because I think there's a big difference. Again, I don't deny that people can fetishize the gothness of people. I don't deny it, but what if someone just has a casual preference, like they prefer alternative looking people, but they don't obsess about it. It's basically what I'm trying to get at. But yeah, I relate to those men where they don't obsess about it. I relate to those men, these men that have a desire to get with an alternative girl or a goth or whatever you emo, punk, whatever, you know. They actually want to get to know them, you know. It's just ridiculous. And just for people to dunk on them, I mean, like, that's my whole childhood. My whole fucking childhood was falling in love with alternative looking cartoon girls and goth girls and shit like that. Like Gaz from Invader Zim and Sam Manson from Danny Phantom and the yellow ones. I forget the yellow ones. You know what I mean? Like Raven from Teen Titans and shit like that. Like that was my childhood, and then all of a sudden it's now uncool. Sorry if you hear me typing. Now all of a sudden, also you might hear my mom snoring. I apologize. Probably don't. That's fine if you. It's fine if you do. It's fine if you don't. No, it's just kind of stupid from men, like, cause people are dunking on men like me. They're kind of like men like me, like we're getting made fun of. Like we're getting seen as like uncool. Like it's the right thing to do to dunk on us, and I disagree. Again, the creepy guys deserve criticism, but for men that's just kind of like not too creepy with it, like we don't deserve the getting dunked on. Like I just don't agree with that. You know, they just have a mild interest in it. You know what I mean? I don't know. Okay, this video is getting way too edged. You know, so I have to edgy kind of get it. Like wake me up. Okay. Anyways. Yeah, basically to end this video before it gets fucking 30 minutes long, which I don't want that to be. Yeah, I'm not talking about the goth Dami Mommy worshippers. I'm talking about a dude who really is curious about the girls' subculture. You know what I mean? And might even want to get into it as well. Because that's the thing is like, maybe they want to get into it as well. Like they're not there yet. Like maybe they're kind of like in the beginning stages of maybe wanting to get into it. You know what I mean? Themselves. Like that's another thing you gotta know too. Another thing that I want to touch on is Another thing that I want to touch on is goth for goth or like alternative for alternative. Like that's another important thing that I want to talk about is that not all guys into alternative girls are normal dressing with normal interests or whatever. Like some of us want a goth slash alternative girl. Um, like like some of us who want those types of girls, the goth, alternative, emo, goth. Like I already said goth. You know, like men who want alternative girls basically sometimes we want them because we are alternative ourselves, you know what I mean? Because we see us and them, like you know what I mean, we resonate with them the clothing, the music interests, even with our dark humor or dark literature or whatever it is. Like that's another reason too. And me personally, the reason why I'm into alternative women, yeah, it is because it physically is pleasing to me and stuff like that. And but at the same time, I actually like the music. Like I actually like the music, and again, I dress like it myself. Like it's not like, oh, I'm a normie and I listen to Weezer and um yeah, I just like women that like dressing in black and listening to Bauhaus, but I don't dress like it and I don't listen to it. No, that's not true. And it's also not um I wear a plaid t-shirts and I listen to Bauhaus and I like girls that dress in black and listen to Bauhaus. It's not like that either. I mean, well that one would that one would actually be okay. Because yeah, well, while the guy's not dressing like a goth, he's still listening to our type of music. But me, that's not like that. For me, I go full on. I dress the part. I listen to the music. I'm interested in women that are into it. It's just I'm into like the whole fucking thing, right? The whole 9 yards, the whole 8 inches of all around the fucking fence, right? Of it all, right? Yeah, for me personally, if someone dresses normal but likes my interests, it's cool, right? But I might not be attracted to them as much physically, you know? That's another thing that I want to say. Like, normal clothing is possible to be attracted to, but it's not really as much for me. Like, you know what I mean? Same with other normal looks. It's okay, but it's like not my thing. You know what I mean? I like dyed hair, a lot of makeup. Like, not talking about me. Like, I'm saying for like the person. I'm talking about the person that I'm attracted to. I'm not saying I like dyeing my hair and wearing a lot of makeup, you know what I mean? But yeah, but yeah, it's just for me personally. If the person like dresses in white t-shirts, but they have my interest, like I said, it's cool, but it's just not enough for me. Like it's not physically pleasing enough. It's not impossible to get with them, but if someone's like listening to Bauhaus and they just mostly wear pink a lot or all the time, it's not enough. I mean, I could maybe tolerate it, maybe marry someone like that, but it's just not enough for me personally. Um, or it doesn't even have to be just clothes. Like if they're physically not attractive to me, like there's something I don't want to like, you know, do any shaming in this video. But everyone has the physical preferences when it comes to body size and um, you know, the shape of a body part and just if someone has dry skin, no offense, I got dry skin, so I'm not trying to be offensive to people that have dry skin. Yeah, I'm just using that as an example. You know, I'm just I don't know. Everyone has whatever. Some people don't like bags under people's eyes. Some people do. You know, everyone has their preferences. Some people don't like freckles. Some people do. Like everyone has their preferences. So, anyways, the person. And this is about the person. But if they dress goth or alternative or whatever you want to call it, but they don't have my interests, then it's kind of like being with the brick wall at this point because it's like, oh yeah, like they might dress the part, but they listen to Little Peep or something like that. Like I don't listen to that. You know, like that's not my music. Like yeah, they might look cool. The e-girl looks cool, but her music just doesn't vibe with me. So like that is also a problem for me. So basically, what I'm trying to get at is that for me, I need both. Like I need both the physical and the mental. The looks, the interest, the personality. Like I need it all. I need the whole package. I can't just have the body. I can't just have the parts because being a fetish is you're attracted to parts of things. It's not a fetish. I don't want the parts. I want the whole package. You know what I mean? For me, other people are different, but I'm not one of those people who don't care about looks. Yeah, some people just don't give a fuck about looks. Like people on the goth um, subreddit or whatever, they're just like, as long as they listen to the same music taste, like who cares like what they look like? Like that's you. Like you know what I mean? Like I understand there's like ace like there's gray sexual people or something like that where they or demi, I don't even know what you call it, right? Where they don't care about what the person looks like. They just care about, like, they're attracted to the personality, not the physical appearance. I don't relate to that. It's kind of like the whole debate about, I wanted to make a video about this, but I think YouTube would censor me hardcore. The whole debate about, is nudity sexual? Like, is being naked sexual? And there's a lot of posts on the internet that says not inherently sexual. I agree, like, it's not inherently sexual, but you gotta admit, it can be sexual, and a lot of that's a whole nother debate. That debate pisses me off too, because a lot of how, I know it's a little bit off topic, but how people talk about that topic, they seem to act like it's um it's never sexual. Like people that do that debate of like, is nudity sexual and being naked and stuff like that. A lot of people, the it's like kind of like with that debate, like they talk as if it never happens, and they're just like, well, people look at people from Europe, for instance. They're naturalists, the nudists. They never perceive it as sexual at all. And I'm just like, never? Like, they never look at someone naked and get turned on, like, ever? They just have sex just to have fun or procreate? Like, that's just very weird to me. Like, that's a whole nother video that I can do, but I don't want to because I might think it, you know. I could talk about that a little bit in this video, but if I made a whole video about that, YouTube would probably age restrict it, you know. I don't mind talking about it in this video because I'm only talking about it a little bit, but for me personally, when it comes to that, no, I'm attracted to naked people. I get turned on by naked people. Not every naked person and not all the time, but there's a guy that's just like, I never, for in my 40 years, I never associated nudity with sex. I'm like, okay, it's a little weird, but okay, no offense. I'm European myself, and I don't get it. I just don't get it. I just don't get it. That's another video for another day. But it's, well, they say, oh, it's only sexual if it involves sexual acts. I disagree. If you're in there's such a thing called the sexual pose, like, like paint me like one of your French maids, like behind next to the fireplace with your hand on your head, your elbows on the floor, like, you know what I mean, like that kind of pose, you know what I mean, like that kind of, like the Stewie did that pose, Stewie in Family Guy, where he was like naked in front of the fireplace, like that kind of pose. Like, there is such a thing as erotic posing, but I don't want to get into that. But I don't know. It's just, yeah, I'm not one of these people who don't care about looks. I know some people are like that. Some, um, uh, yeah, some are even gray romantic or gray sexual, or whatever. But that's not me. Yeah, it's just not me. You know what I mean? Um, yeah, basically, I don't want a goth alternative girl for the experience, because a lot of guys say that, like, oh, I want to date an edgy girl just for the experience. For me, it's not for the experience. For me, I want to experience life with a goth alternative girl, or whatever you want to identify as, and all its possibilities. Like, for me, I want to go to the movies with one. Um, I even want to see her non-goth alternative punk traits. Like, I want to see it. I want to hear it. I want to get to know the non-alternative parts of her. Yeah, and you guessed it. You guessed it. Seeing her dress normal once in a while too is also okay. Well, as long as, like, it only if she wants to. Like, I'm not gonna force her to, hey, dress normal one day just to test it out. Like, I'm not gonna force her to dress normal just to see, just as a test, to test it out to see if I like it. Like, I'm not gonna do that, but only if she wants to. But basically, it's up to her to dress how she wants. Normal one day, alternative the next, whatever. I just hate how people are getting falsely accused of being chasers, and it applies to other groups of people as well. Like, do chasers exist? Like I said in this video, yeah, sure. Like, they're horny all the time. Yeah, okay, sure. But not me. This is a preference. Like, it's just a preference, and there's, like, nothing wrong with that. Like, there's nothing wrong. Like, if anything, this should be, like, actually celebrated. Like, you're actually getting attention. Now, I understand some people get unwanted attention, and we should shame the unwanted attention. But I don't know. It's just, I don't know. You know? That's just my opinion. I just don't see anything wrong with it. Like, the men that are not being creepy, that just kind of have like a natural, that are just kind of curious. shouldn't be ashamed. And I'm sick of everything being problematic, offensive, and political, because it really is. Because I'm not gonna blame any political. I'm not gonna get feminism involved with this or liberalism. I'm not gonna, even though I really want to, but it's gonna divide people and piss people off. But that's not what the video is about. The video is about, it's not. I don't want to get into that because it's just gonna divide a lot of people when it comes to that. But yeah, what's wrong with wanting to have a goth girlfriend? Um, Really nothing. Like, there's nothing, like someone said on Reddit, there's nothing wrong with finding goths or alternative women, punks, emos, whatever. There's nothing wrong with finding them attractive. You know, like in itself, like the attraction, there's nothing wrong with the attraction in itself. You know what I mean? Yeah, it only seems to be a problem if it's like overly sexual. Like, you know what I mean? Like, it's only acceptable if she welcomes this like if the woman welcomes the sexuality kind of like vibe that you're getting, like if she welcomes it, like that's a completely another story, because you could be hitting on her and then she doesn't mind it, like she might not mind it, she'd be like, oh, like I'm getting attention, right? But then there's women where it's like they don't want that, either because they're asexual or romantic, or maybe they do want it but not you, like you specifically, like you might not be her type. So, you know, yeah, it's only a problem if it's sexual, unwanted sexualization. Like it's a whole, like I said, it's completely different if she is welcoming it. Like if you give a sexual advance to her and she accepts it, like that's a completely different story. And it's also a completely different story if she's the one that starts the sexual advances first. Like that's also a completely different story. But yeah, um, yeah, someone on Reddit said there's nothing wrong with finding goth girls attractive. It's when you treat them like an object or unwanted sexual comments, then that's the problem. Yeah. But you, I, if you want to get sexual though, I think you got to get to know them first. You know what I mean? And like see if they're even like. That's a completely whole nother video to like the alternative community and dating and sexuality, like that's just too complicated to get into here, because I'm going to be here talking for fucking 2 hours or something, you know what I mean? I don't know, but I guess I could just narrow it down in a nutshell, I guess, and say that when it comes to the sexual comments, it's the only way it's not a problem, again, is if like you have to get to know the person. You got to somehow figure out, either verbally or non-verbally, or you have to figure out in some kind of way, is he attracted to her and is her attracted to him? You have to like figure out in some way. Some people can figure that out without even words. Like non-verbal communication, like most communication is non-verbal. Like people do well with non-verbal communication unless you have autism, or, and I'm not saying that to be offensive, like apparently I have autism. I never really agree with that because I do have, I'm okay with social nonverbal cues. Like I think I do pick up on nonverbal cues, but I don't know. But I don't want to get out of topic about that. Yeah, like someone said I can find goth girls attractive and treat them with respect. Yeah, someone's like, yeah, 100%. Everyone deserves equal respect regardless of how they present themselves. Yeah, I just someone says I don't understand why non-goths would actively go after people who don't share the same interests as them. Yeah, I mean, that's what I said. Yeah, I made a video of like the normie, like the normal geeky guy or whatever he identifies as, going after the goth girl. Like it's not gonna work. It's not gonna work. Like she's not gonna be into you. And it's not even just because you dress like in a flannel or like something like that. It's not even just necessarily how you dress. But for some goth and punk and alternative women, that might be true. Like, oh, he doesn't dress like me, so therefore I'm not. I'm not into him. Like that might be a thing, but I think the bigger reason why alternative, I'm just gonna say alternative. I'm gonna stop saying goth because that's too limiting. I think the big reason why alternative women don't date these normal men, it's the big reason I think is because the lack of music sharing relatabilism, if that's even a word. Like, you know what I mean? Like, he listens to Weezer and you listen to fucking Sisters of Mercy, and it's like, I don't like Weezer. I don't like his voice. I don't like, it's just incel music, or, you know, no offense to Weezer fans, you know, like, it's not gonna work. You know what I mean? It might work in some cases. There is opposites that attract. I have a friend that's married to a guy. I have a goth friend, and even though she's goth, she's married to this guy that's not really into goth, not really into metal, not really into anything. He doesn't dress the part, but like even though like the complete fucking opposites, they work. That dynamic works, and it only works because they're nice to each other. Now, me personally, I don't, I can't do that. Like that's just not enough for me. Like the whole like I respect those relationships. Like, oh, we're together because like we're opposites, but we're together because we're just nice to each other. Like that's fine. But like, really, like I'm not trying to be an a hole, but really, you're only with them because they're nice. Like that's it. Like I can understand that, but that's just not me. Like that's the only trait, really. Like I don't know, like it just won't get anywhere for me personally. You know what I mean? Let's go kind of go back to my notes. I'm gonna stop kind of like maybe. Yeah, it says someone says I never chased normie women because I have nothing in common with them. Therefore, right out the gate, you are interested in them as a people. You have a fetish. I don't know. I don't know. I don't know who they were referring to with that, but I'm gonna go back to my notes though. I don't want to read these stupid fucking comments from these people that don't know what they're talking about. Some of them. um, yeah. You don't. Oh, another thing too is you don't have to be into these subcultures to like these girls. You just gotta study it. If you just study the history of goth and realize that it's not Marilyn Manson, it began in the 80s, or like as long as you study these subcultures, again, you don't have to be into it, but as long as you study the music and the subculture in general, you should be fine. You know, get to know their music, get to know them as a whole, even if you don't like Bauhaus or Sunny Day Real Estate or Pierce the Veil or whatever the fuck that fits into the label, that's fine. Doesn't necessarily mean you have to find someone else. Me personally, though, the person has to have at least one trait of me, though, of something that's relatable, whether it's music taste, philosophy, something like that. Like, you know what I mean? Like, that's just me personally. I know. Sorry if you hear me swiping with my notes here, but this video is getting way too fucking long. I might have to. Um. Yeah. My biggest issue though is the normal men chasing after these women though. Like I think alternative for alternative should be more accepted. Now that's probably gonna get me backlash and people be like, it doesn't have to be alternative or goth for goth. Like I just maybe for you, normal and alternative works, but not for me. I don't know. Someone actually said I see a big similarity to how things feel in the um someone says I have felt the most sexualization from trans for trans and goth for goth matches. Really? I don't agree with that. I think trans for trans and goth for goth would actually cause the least amount of sexualization because they are of your people. So this person they have to be an outlier because I haven't really seen that. I haven't really seen that many goths objectifying other goths or even trans people doing that to other trans people. In fact, literally trans for trans, the main reason why trans people date other trans people, it's not because if it's not, I just learned this out. It's not because it's a preferred preference. Because in cisgender men, it's a preferred, for a lot of cisgender men, a lot of cisgender men that date trans women, a lot of them that do, it's a preference, right? It's a preference. It's a chasing after a thing. It's a you know what I mean. But for trans, while it could be for some people, while it could be for a preference for some trans people, the real reason why trans for trans is a thing is it's more of a to feel safe kind of a thing, to trust your own people kind of a thing. I didn't know that, but me personally, if I became trans or non-binary, that would be a reason, but it would also be a preference too, because I have a preference for trans people and non-binary people. Not my number one main preference. Like I mostly date and get along. Like I mostly like most of the people that I've gotten with and that I fantasize about is cisgender. So I'm not a chaser. But I do once in a while, I just have no issues with other genders and whatever. This video's getting off topic, but yeah, I don't know. But yeah, so is there anything that I'm missing? Actually, right here, someone said, hold on. Well, I said to one of my friends, I do find it weird though that some couples, such as yourself, is goth for normie or whatever. Like, yeah, I was reading debates about how like alternative relationships on how it's not always goth for goth or alternative for alternative. Like for me, it's almost mandatory. Like the only other way I can get with someone who dresses normally or has normal music taste is if they have a common trait of something else. Like they have my philosophy, a spiritual belief, or whatever, right? Like that's the only way, right? Like I don't like I am able to be attracted to normal dressing people and even other styles, like geeky girls. She might dress a little geeky or nerdy, like that's fine. But I don't know. And I said, like, what is so wrong with being attracted to goth girls and the goth look or alternative look in general? I'm like, for real. If you care about the person slash the personality too, along with it. And I don't know. Like I said, if it's just looks, it's a problem. If you're only into, yeah, I don't even, r slash goth on Reddit. I don't like going there anymore. I always get dislikes, and the community hates me. The goth community shuns me and hates me. The alternative, the two fucking okay. I don't want this to be political. I'm a left leaning Protestant, but these people are way too far left for me. Way too far left. It's like the same thing with the BDSM community, which I also got dislikes on Reddit for that too, many years ago, when I said that I don't understand non-sexual kink. Like if you get tied up and wear a diaper for a coping mechanism, like me personally, that's you, that's fine. But I don't know. I understand the sexual reason behind that. Like the sexual, like that's a completely another video, right? Like if you get tied up and you dress up in a clown suit and you say, "Oh, it's a fetish," like I can understand that. Like, oh, it's one of those fetish things. Like I understand that. But if you say it's a coping mechanism, I'm not trying to shame you or anything, and it's like not sexual for you, it's just a coping mechanism. That sounds schizotypal. Like that sounds schizotypal personality disorder. That's just very eccentric and weird to me. Because normal people with coping mechanism, normal people with coping mechanisms don't want to be tied up and dress up like a clown in a diaper, and it's just just too like that's schizotypal. I'm not trying to diagnose people. That's just very odd, abnormal psychology for me personally. Because normal people don't do that. Normal people, like, I'm not trying to shame your coping mechanisms, but normal people just don't do that. You know what I mean? Normal people cry or they'll drink or something. But again, if you want to be eccentric and do a coping mechanism, I'm probably going to get a lot of dislikes now for this. Whatever, right? I mean, as long as you're keeping it in your room and shit like that or wherever in the privacy, do whatever. I mean, I do weird stuff, both sexual fetish and non-sexual fetish. I have these repetitive weird rituals and weird shit. I don't know if it's OCD or if it's autism. I don't know what it is, but But then in this video, because that's a big long waffle, someone said to someone else, "What about just joining any dating site?" Because someone was talking about goth dating, and someone commented, "What about just joining any dating site and getting to know a person rather than their aesthetic? Yeah, I'm goth, but why do I need to date one along As long as I click with someone, their appearance and specific hobbies don't matter as much. See, that's you, dude. For me, it's the appearance and the hobbies. Like, I understand, like, the weird thing about me is it seems to be more common to be into the specific hobbies and interests, and you don't really care about what the person looks like. That seems to be like the number one dominating, like, common thing among people. Or maybe not the number one dominating thing, but like that seems to be like a very common thing. For me, it's not. For me, it's hobbies, interests, and appearance. People be like, but that's also common. I know, but sometimes it, when I read comments on the internet, sometimes it really does not feel common. Like sometimes when I read comments on the internet, sometimes I get the vibe that people really don't care what other people don't look like. What am I trying to say? What am I trying to say? Sometimes when I read comments on the internet, I get the vibe that people really don't care what other people look like as long as they listen to Bauhaus and like list and like playing Fortnite, and that's all they care about. For me, no, no, it's not. No, it has to be the whole package. Like I said, I'm just repeating myself. Someone says, well, to some people, goth is more than just a fashion. It is also a particular mentality and range of interests. The issue I've come across is I've gone into these dating sites already with the same mentality that you're talking about and haven't had luck. The other people judge on aesthetic more heavily than I do. If I happen to meet someone I click with and they're not goth or alternative, I'm not going to count that as a deal breaker. Same with me. Like if they have if they're into spiritualism, or if they have the same physical condition as me, or mental condition as me, or if they like a certain movie but they're not alternative, that's fine. Like if they like Need for Speed but they're not alternative, that's fine, but it's just not what I prefer though. Believe it or not, the number one thing that I look for in people, and this is kind of like, I'm not making a joke or anything, the number one thing that I look for people nowadays is, do they have my fetishes? Like BDSM or into feet or something like that. Because my fetishes are so weird that, again, I don't count goth as a fetish for me. Um, I am into BDSM, but here's the thing about BDSM though, they don't have to dress in black. You know what I mean? Like, it could be it could be a girl in a pink dress. As long as she's dominating me, that's all I care about. I don't care if she's in black. I know there's some controversy with goth and BDSM, like it's unintentionally linked, and it should not be linked, but it unintentionally is because the clothing is similar to BDSM. But I don't think my BDSM interests have anything to do with my attraction to goth girls. I don't think they're connected at all. I think my BDSM, everyone gets into BDSM for various reasons. I don't even know what my reason is. There is a theory that trauma has something to do with it, which Psych to Go was fucking preaching that in one of the fucking videos. It pissed me the fuck off because that's just an age-old fucking myth that, oh, if you're into BDSM, you must have trauma. I hate to buy into that stereotype, but for some BDSM interests of mine, like I'm into getting degraded and humiliated only with trusted people, not the random YouTube hater people that troll me. I don't like it when they make fun of me, but you know, I think that might have to do with my trauma and getting bullied. But with the whole getting me being into bondage has nothing to do with my trauma. I don't know why I'm into that, but yeah, basically, I base a lot of my interests on my fetishes. Like, not that many people have my weird fetishes. No one in the goth community, not the normal people. Like, I'm into some very weird stuff, right? Like bodily functions and weird concepts. So it's even hard to find it within the alternative community. So that's like maybe not a number one thing I look for when I make friends or dating. Maybe not the number one thing, but it is a big factor when it comes to having sex or dating someone, is you have to deal with my fetishes. Like, not necessarily be into it, but you have to at least participate in it. And even if you don't want to participate in it, accept that I have it. And if you can't do any of that, then we can't. Um, Music, I'm. Does anyone have my music taste? Does anyone have my beliefs about the aliens and the ghosts? That's what I'm looking for. Do they have a good personality? Are they mentally healthy? They don't have to be neurotypical. Like they could be neurodivergent and mentally ill. That's fine. I could date someone like that, be friends with. They have to be stable though. They have to be in therapy. They have to be on pills. Well, not necessarily. I mean, you know, they have to. Remember. Well, it's the same thing with the BDSM community. Is the person sane? Is it consensual? You know, they don't have to be mentally. What am I trying to say? It's okay to be friends with someone that has a mental illness or date them it's fine, but are they stable? That's the most important thing. Okay. That's what I look for in people. Are they stable? Are they relatable? Okay, I'm ending this video.